Hey guys, this is Scott with the Average Joe's Armory, the channel for the Average Joe, and today I'm at the Kolar Arms Factory in Racine, Wisconsin. Now Kolar's known for their high quality craftsmanship and precision engineering that they put into their shotguns. They cater to shooters in trap, skeet, and sporting clays. Join us today as we take a guided tour and learn about the Kolar legacy with CEO and President Sean Mainland.
So this is actually two machines. This is a Mazak horizontal CNC machine, and here's actually the automation. So this, when we're sleeping, this is still running. It makes our receivers, our monoblocks, our trigger housings, our top levers. And of course, even like the monoblocks, there's 4 different kinds: over singles, unsingles, over unders, sub gauge. This is how receivers start.
Wow.
It's already been heat treated, x-rayed. Nobody else makes out of our stock. Everyone else is either cast or forged.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I just have to ask, why do you guys choose to do it that way?
It's the purest form of metal you can get. You know, castings will have kind of voids in the metal. You can tell it by the longevity of these guns, and the felt recoil really is so minimal compared to anything else out there.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. It's built out of block of steel.
Yeah, it's rough on the tools. It's a lot of machining. You can kind of see them in different steps.
Okay.
So, well, here's a receiver pretty early on.
Okay. Wow.
Just always that kind of the same spot.
Yeah.
See this big old drill just hogging it out right there.
Yeah.
But a good finish here.
And at this point, it's already pretty smooth and polished. A couple burrs, they're pretty smooth.
Yeah. Here's it earlier on yet.
Oh, yeah. Now, how many does this machine make at a time, would you say?
2. So they're in different spots on these, like on a fixture. If this was receivers, it would be like 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, and you just kind of move them along. And to a point where we pull them off and do the wire EDM for the bolt slots and the firing pins, and come back in here again. And at that point, there's maybe half an hour left. All in all, on a receiver, it's 6 hours of machining.
Yeah.
And parts like this is top levers. We'll run these once a week, so it makes 10 at a time. So this is kind of a weekend run. So we'll put raw material here, and it'll machine the bottoms, then we'll move it and machine the top, and done in 2.
Okay.
Yeah, we made all the fixtures here, did all the programming, the tooling. So we have 10 of these pallets.
Top levers. Yeah.
We put tombstones on, and even though we're running a lot of parts on this, there's room to do more. Receivers, since there's so much machining, that's why they're always running 2 at a time. Where some of the smaller parts we put on are going to be just like this, where you do 10 at a time, run it every weekend.
Okay. Wow. I mean, this is really something.
Yeah.
That's really something.
Other parts it does. So this is top levers halfway through, trigger housing a little more than halfway through, monoblocks. That's cool, and I'll show you that fixture, but it does 8 every night, and that's too many, so every once in a while we'll quit running them. Now, before, when we wanted to run receivers, it was like 28 different operations, and each time you had to set this up, check all the tooling, run it, make sure tolerances were right. They never are on the first one, so you make your changes, you put that part aside, and you lose it. Here we could quit running receivers for 6 months, come back, just load it with material, hit go, and it goes. So it's taking a ton of time in setup. Very repeatable. There's much less room for error.
The efficiency is there, and well, that's why your tolerances are so tight, and because you set it up.
Yeah. Most of our receivers are done on that big Mazak here. We're putting the firing pin holes in. You can see kind of the before and after.
Yeah. Yep.
And this is a little tricky because it's such a long hole, because you have to clear all this material. Mm-hmm. So in here they're at 2 different angles, just because one, firing pins are like this, one goes up and in, one goes down and in.
Right.
We have 3 different tools that do that, and each time we put a little sleeve in there just to make sure it's in the right spot. So we have really long tools, and we take it out of that big machine just to put those sleeves in. We're going to visit our turning center next. This is all raw material, so this is going to be aluminum for our sub-gauge tubes. Down here is titanium for our chokes and our sub-gauge chambers. What we'll do is we'll kind of chop this material into sections. We'll load up this. It's kind of like a magazine, so you can fit 5 of those shorter bars. And it'll feed through here, come out the other end, and this is a turning center, so the part actually spins and the tools come in and machine it. So out of that big solid bar, we'll get choke blanks. So you bore it out, cut the threads and everything, and then you can turn this choke blank and whatever choke you want.
Wow, that's cool.
What's great about...
I've seen the finished product, but I've never seen where they came from.
Yeah.
This is really cool. Yeah.
What's cool is this machine, if you load that up with material, it'll fill up this bucket with these choke blanks, and one at a time you got to do that last operation. But
specific chokes, like certain constrictions, or do you have?
Yeah. So we kind of have a baseline of like trap guns get these, sporting clay guns get those, but if someone needs anything different, that's very easy to swap out.
Yeah, very cool.
Screw that in. All right. If you put it all the way, I kind of move it and then step on that, it'll clamp it down.
All the way in, and then step on this?
Yep.
Okay. It's in there.
Andy, you happy?
That is light bulbs. So that is 710 is the diameter, and then you can hit this button right there.
All right.
And we'll watch it just to make sure.
Good. Very cool. Making a choke at the Kolar Company. Can you talk a little bit about what differentiates Kolar Arms from maybe other high-end shotgun companies?
Sure. I always start with service. We're right here, factory direct service. We have a lifetime warranty. In writing, it covers defects in material and machining, but really, if it's not supposed to happen, it happens, we take care of it. It's kind of that Midwestern and family business kind of approach to it.
Yeah, so what would you say, for the average Joe, what's the best advice that you have for basic gun maintenance at over under?
I would keep it clean. You don't have to clean your barrels every time, but at least wipe the dirt and grease off of it, and start off with new grease the next time you shoot it. That just keeps everything nice. That grease will attract dirt and grime and whatever. And if you take that off and start with new, you'll never have a problem.
Makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Take it out fresh, put it away fresh.
You bet.
So what would you say, working in this department, what are some of the things that Kolar does to really set themselves apart in service, and what do you see?
Well, it's more personal. Like you said, if you call up, you talk to me, you talk to Tom Hahn, talk to Brian if you had tube questions. So we try to be more personal, know all of our customers, try to get through the jobs as quick as we can. Typically we have the best turnaround in the industry. If you need an appointment, you can come in. Usually we can schedule a couple weeks out if you wanted to wait while I work on your gun. So that's a little bit different. Most companies, you just ship it in.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. No, appreciate it. Pleasure to meet you.
You too.
This is everybody's favorite room. This is the Woodroom. So most people know what a blank looks like. Oh yeah. Here's a blank. We'll kind of lay it out and shape it. You can see this one's shaped a little bit just on a bandsaw, nothing crazy. Mm-hmm. Most when we run them will come out looking like this. So we have some material to remove. A lot of steps on here, so we'll sand all those flat.
Oh,
we'll
sure.
Cut the comb on, then it goes to finishing. What we do is we We spray a layer, finish, let it dry, sand it, buff it, repeat, 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 repeat. So if someone gets a custom stock made, usually we say 10 to 12 weeks, and most of that is finishing. That's about all of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
A custom stock off the machine, you know, we kind of talked about how you can do a full custom fitting. You do all that in this room and kind of inlet the front and leave a ton of material. All this will be shaped by hand, and you're here mounting your gun probably 1,000 times, gear for 6 hours. And
Yeah, I was curious how long it took to
Yeah.
you know, customize a stock to, you know, your hand, your face, you know, everything like that. Yeah, well, what does that process kind of look like, I guess?
So when you have this, he'll shape it. So you can see this is kind of contoured. There's always extra material, so I'll bring it down. And then you stand right here like it's a station.
Okay.
And you mount the gun and point at that black wall, and you say like, hey, you'll see if your wrist is straight. You know, mostly on pretty much every custom stock, we do move that grip forward a little bit to get that grip level. That just makes a difference. You know, you don't want your wrist cocked because you'll bind as you mount it, end up canning the gun. But they'll do the grip, the palm saw, both the location and size, the offset, the drop here, the drop in the heel, any twist. And I think the grip takes the longest. Just he'll go and say, okay, where do you feel too much pressure? You want it right here. You know, if it's too low, you know, you work the bottom and essentially move it up. Is solely creep in. You know, you can't add material, but you can definitely remove it.
Right. So you're asking about the comfort. You're looking at how they're pulling it and how they're sighting it and everything, and that's how you make that custom stock.
Yes.
Okay.
My dad Jeff, he's the one that does all the custom stocks.
Oh,
and he's been doing it forever. And I got a custom stock made, and I learned a lot about gun fit just from that. Like, I could always fit people, but it's just so much deeper.
Yeah, well, that was one thing that I wanted to take away from today is just kind of like learning that process, because that's just intriguing to me that it literally is customized to that person.
Yeah.
So that is great that you take all that time.
Oh yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
So next up is the Woodroom. This is English. It has a couple Turkish that are just in here drying because it's temperature controlled, humidity controlled. So if you're getting custom stock made, or you know, maybe you want pictures of your stock before we make it, you can come in here, fiddle through it till you find one that you like. You know, they're kind of separated by grades too, so we still have the nicest standards in the industry. That's our reputation, and we're gonna keep it that way.
Yeah. Now this is English walnut, you said?
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
And you do some Turkish walnut as well?
Some Turkish. And then here's some of our high grade stuff. This is a $1,000 upgrade, $2,000 upgrade, just a little bit nicer pieces. This is all of our finished stock, so if you don't need anything custom, let's just say you're getting an adjustable low profile and you fit a number 2, 3, 4, 1, you know, you can go through and see which one you like. It's for a high rib, low profile, fixed ribs.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so this would be, already pre-made. Now if somebody did need something customized to it, you could take material off of these, or would you not do that?
Yeah, mostly just length of pull. You know, if someone needs something longer, you can put a bigger pad on, shorter, we can remove material from the back. But if you need more offset or something, we're looking at getting a blank and machining it.
Over. Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. Good to know.
It's our tube, sub-gauge tube. So this is actually how we got started. So Grandpa bought the patent for sub-gauge tubes from Larry Kolar. All this is machined in that turning center, the one where you made that choke in. That'll make the aluminum tubes, titanium chamber. Aluminum's been hard coated just to protect it. And
Beautiful.
what we do that some of the other tube manufacturers don't do is when we have the chamber attached to this and the adapter, will hone the entire inside so there's no steps. And you do notice that on the patterning board.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So it's just smooth and consistent all the way through.
Yeah.
No, like you said, no steps, no ridges. So very nice.
Yeah.
That's what you got you guys all started.
Yeah. Yeah, we were buying guns, tubing them, and selling them.
Yeah. Very cool.
So this is our brazing department. Right now, Andrew's putting the barrel and monoblock through, and come back to that though. I'd like to see him earlier on.
All right.
So these start as full blanks. We turn and knurl this here. We'll braze on these hanger lugs. This will be straightened, then go over to CNC to get the dovetails cut. Much easier to cut them straight than it is to braze them straight. It'll come back to get put in the monoblock.
Okay.
So this is kind of in process, very hot. That's how it'll look after. Then I'll go over to CNC again to get the whole breech face brazed. It'll do the ejector pockets, the bolt slots, any adjustment studs on there. The fixed ribs, it does the fixed rib on it. That's all done in this. It's got torches all the way around and lights it up to 1500 degrees until the solder comes out. And you know there's a good bond. And not a good bond, you know, you can have issues because you don't want that to bulge inside there. You know, we proof every single barrel so we know everything leaving is good. And these guys are very picky, so we don't lose really any barrels to that.
Okay. Got that process down.
Yeah. When we straighten them, we'll put them in here. We'll take the height gauge, you know, zero it out. We'll rotate it and see if it's straight or not.
Okay.
And then put them in our secret straightening machine behind me, and then send it over to the next steps. It's really important to make sure these are straight. We keep them within 5 thousandths, which Sammy's spec is like 25 thousandths. That's like the accepted firearms tolerances.
Okay.
That's just important because when you go to bore out the inside, you know, if it's thicker on this side than this side, as it heats up, it's going to move. So we're very picky about it, keeping those straight. And when you hone it, all the wall thicknesses are the same.
Okay.
Here's a custom machine we had made. So this is our hone. What that's doing is removing material from the inside. This is like a manual one, but what they'll do is they'll put stones right here. Of course, spin oil the whole time just to keep it cool and just text its way through. So there's a beautiful mirror finish. And that's why it's so important for them to be straight, because this thing's born and straight no matter what. So you want the outside to be straight as well.
So that's how we get that nice mirror look through the light and the bore light.
Yeah. And all of them leave chrome plated. Actually, our neighbors do that for us. So we roll one of these barrel carts over and they chrome plate them for us.
Okay.
All of these barrels here haven't fit to a receiver. Most of those receivers are out to nickel plating right now. They're back here to get all those machine lines polished out and kind of show you.
Yeah, so we're pretty much
Before
done.
and
We just got to
after.
add the ejectors and
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
You see all the machine lines here and then the grinding there.
Yeah.
And you know, they're noted if they're matte or they're blue gloss. If they're blue gloss, ton of handwork. It takes about 6 hours to do.
Wow.
Throwing this bison, really sanding away, utilizing these buffing wheels.
Okay.
A lot of work.
Yeah.
But it's got a beautiful mirror finish at the end of it.
This is cool.
These are our bluing tank, so it's a controlled rust process. You gonna show them one?
Yeah, I got a cool one.
So it's hot water, heat up the barrel, then bluing salts, hot water again to eliminate that, and then in the W2. The W2 turns the solder black, otherwise you're gonna have gold rings like in your monoblock and all your posts, like a fixed rib. And then I'll go into this oil just to protect it, because it is a rust process.
Okay.
Yeah. So he just picked this gun up, so he'll go off his spec sheet. This will have either customer or dealer name attached to it and all the call outs, so what kind of barrels, what kind of stocks, etc. He'll take a receiver and fit the trigger housing, the top lever, the bolt, some of the interior parts. He'll get the fore-end iron, the barrel to fit. You want a little bit of a gap right here. It's just cosmetic. Of course, if it's too tight, that's where it's bottoming out. You want it to bottom out on the breech face. So he'll actually ink it up and make sure there's contact all the way around. Consider that the gas seal. That way when you shoot it, all your recoil is hitting that whole face. If there's a gap there, all your recoil is hitting your hinge pins. And that just wears it. So that's why, with the contact here, that's why we offer the lifetime warranty, because you can't wear these things out. That's why there's less felt recoil too, because it's in an entire surface, which is absorbing all that pressure. And
So it sounds like this is a pretty important station.
Yes.
Making sure everything is handcrafted, hand pitted.
yes.
Excellent.
And he'll take, if this is a 2-barrel gun, pretty much 8 hours to do all that.
Wow. Okay.
Roughly 8 hours, yeah.
Yeah. The barrels will get proofed and patterned, then go out. If this is getting nickel plated, it gets nickel plated. blued, we do that internally. Barrels obviously will blue, and then here, back up here for final assembly. And this will probably take a day and a half in final assembly with all those steps in between as well. So.
Okay. Okay.
With Adam here, building a trigger. So he's got the trigger body. It's gonna be a trap trigger, tell by the inertia block. There's our selector switch here. So that selects which sear the trigger's making contact with.
Can you talk to us a little about the inertia blocks and the differences between like a trap gun and maybe a sporting gun or speed gun?
Yes. So this is our, it's actually a release trigger, but this is our trap inertia block. It's just that one big piece. Our skeet and sporting is actually like a 2-stage inertia block, and it just gives us a little more control at selection. We have these window discs here just to control how much that selector can rotate.
Okay.
And we just, you know, we same as everything else, just high quality material and really tight tolerances. So this little sear angle will make contact on your hammer. Right here, that little tiny ledge. You want full contact, so you pull the trigger, it releases. And that's right there. We have the little window so you can see. And we don't want, you know, some of the triggers out there, not Kolar's, but other ones, if there's not full contact, you feel the trigger move, and then it makes contact, and then it'll go. This, I mean, it doesn't go, goes.
Right, so really it's not squishy, just nice and crisp.
Yes.
Yep.
There's a mechanical trigger. You can fire both rebounding hammers, so you can release them. Actually encourage it. Just keeps your springs powerful for longer, you know, rather than keeping them cocked and having that pressure on it. So recommend people release them.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. This customer has what we kind of consider the all-around combo. So he's getting 3 barrels. He's getting an over-under 12 gauge, an over-under carrier with the tubes, and an unsingle for trap. He had a custom stock made, bigger guy. The stock's huge. So very, very custom, and you know, he kind of went all out. There's nothing he can't shoot with this gun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice little package.
Yeah. So Kevin here is in charge of final assembly. He'll go to a lot of shoots with me as well. Mostly sporting clay shoots.
So he's putting the rib on?
Yep, putting the rib on. This is unsingle, so a lot of it's connected just from here. You know, there's some angled set screws, but a lot of it's pulling that in.
Gotcha. Okay.
Of course, I'll put the adjustment stud right here, so you can adjust it up and down. It's our proofing and patterning room. So with this receiver and this nice good looking stock here, we'll put it in this fixture, which will pull out, and then you shoot the barrel, make sure that there's a good braze, a good bond. You put these high pressure proof loads through. It's 3 times the normal pressure of a shell, just to make sure that that braze is done correctly.
Good test, yeah.
Yes. Required to do it, as everybody is and should be.
Okay, yeah.
So after proofing, they'll pattern it too. They'll actually use a stock that fits them. They won't use that stock, but they'll put it on a rest and shoot. Usually the left dot is bottom barrel, right is top barrel. 2 shots through each, always off a rest, because that's where the gun shoots, right off your shoulders, kind of where you shoot the gun. Always with a figure 8 when we're patterning it too, with the 2 beads.
Yep.
Yeah. We'll put on this light board, which gets pretty bright if I turn it on, but you can see all the shots. So if it's, you know, bottom barrel shooting here, top barrel shooting here, you can raise this one, lower this one, or do both and kind of have a meet in the middle. That just allows us to control that. And you know, sometimes maybe a trap shooter on their over-under want that bottom barrel shooting a little higher for doubles. They'll kind of spot shoot the first one and then make a horizontal move for that second one. So usually that second shot shoots a little flatter. You can adjust it with one hanger change really. Say, especially the front hanger, the muzzle hanger, one number, so they're 0 through 11.
Okay.
Really, there's some outliers. We don't see a lot of zeros out there.
Yeah.
But that each one number change will move it about 3 inches.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yes.
And that's at 30 yards. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. For customization, like, do you actually have for custom orders? Do you come in here and set it up just to the shooter specs, or do you have kind of like generic specs that you use for?
We have a baseline.
Okay.
And even our adjustable ribs, we'll shoot with the rib all the way up and all the way down just to make sure that's moving enough.
So you can see the variations
Yes.
there? Yeah, okay,
Yes.
the range?
Yeah.
Okay.
And sometimes someone will say, you know, I want this barrel, but I want to shoot in a little extra high. Oh, there's always games we can play with the hangers
Okay.
to get it out of spec even, because it's still custom, so.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
That is cool.
As you can see from the tour video, Sean Mainland and his team over at Kolar Arms truly prioritize high quality craftsmanship as well as outstanding customer service. As I spent the day on site, I got to see that more and more in terms of the importance of the quality that goes into these guns, as well as them learning and knowing what the shooting community truly wants so they can deliver to the people. We hope you enjoyed this exclusive look inside the Kolar Arms factory, and if you're considering purchasing a competition shotgun, definitely consider Kolar Arms. They're made in the USA, right here in Racine, Wisconsin, and they have a lifetime warranty. Check out their website for a catalog of all their products, and make sure to connect with a local dealer to get your hands on a gun. We want to thank Kolar Arms, Sean Mainland, Jeff Mainland, and the whole team over there for welcoming us on site and allowing us an exclusive look at the Kolar Arms legacy. With that said, this is Scott signing off with the Average Joe's Armory. Please like, subscribe, and ring that bell for future content, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you.